Hey guys, Honey Hefe here. It's May the 17th. It's about 11:15 out here at the Savannah Apiary. I'm gonna check these splits that I did. I got some queens right down there in that box. I think I got about 12 of them down there. I'm gonna see what these bees are looking like. I know some of them are ready to be moved into a box. Some of these splits. So I've got 6 supers out here. Pretty good. I brought 5 more. I gotta go to another apiary or two. This morning I stopped by my queen bank at the green apiary. I pulled out. I'm glad I kept that box they were shipped in. Makes it easy to carry them, the queens, and in their cages. Of course, they're not the protected cages, or the cages. The candy's not protected on one end, but they're not down in the plastic cup thing is what I'm talking about. I got them right here. I'm not planning on replacing these queens. I'm planning on putting them in. If any of these splits are weak, or if they're queenless, I'll put them in there. And I probably will leave a couple of 5-frame. I guess I'll use until I get more wooden nuke boxes. I'll just leave them there. I'm going to kind of back this up a little bit. So, oh, sorry guys. All thumbs here. All right. We'll kind of start off here. And I'm going to kind of go back to my old way of doing things. I'm not going to have you going over my shoulder and looking. I know that's probably more what you want. But right now, for the sake of time management, I had to go, had to be somewhere about 5 o'clock. And I got a lot more to do, so I'm not going to spend a lot of time trying to talk and show like the details of everything that's going on. But I want to check, see if these guys are ready to move. All right. These guys look full. So it's a lot of bees in here. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to smoke them a little bit. I'm not trying to find the queen. I believe she's in there. I'll see some brood. I'm just going to move them down in this box. I believe I have quite a few extra frames available to fill in. It's mostly just foundation. On this side, it's all foundation. On here, it's got a little bit of drawn comb, not much. I'm gonna turn it around though. I think that will help make them start drawing foundation on this side. There's not a whole, I mean, a lot of comb on this, or start drawing comb on this side. There's not a lot of comb over here to really make it significantly different than this one. But it's enough for where the bees kind of look over like, wait, we got stuff over here, but we don't have it here. We need to fill it in here because we got plenty over here on the neighboring frame. I'm trying to trick the bees. Man, this looks good. These bees do look calm. Let's see. I see larvae in there. I don't want to spend a lot of time looking for the queen, but I am just kind of want to make sure I got queen evidence. All right, so this is a queen cup right here. I'm just gonna crush it. Right here, this one is empty. I have a queen in here, so if not, I've got queens over there that I can put in there. A lot of uncapped. That looks more like a drone, that part right there, but instead of a queen cup. All right, so I don't see the queen. But the population looks pretty good. Make sure she's not on this. Make sure I don't see the queen. Walking around here on the side. See a few small hive beetles. Never. And all right, let me get some frames. Let's see what we got. Maybe I need 5 more frames. All right. Let's see, what's comb there? I wonder. It's 4. Let's say that's 5. All right, guys. So I'm gonna slide this over. Just a little bit of comb here. I'll kind of pick these bees up. Yeah. All right. This is some older comb. Same, some older comb. So this is there's some wax there. I kind of did that from Bruce's bees. He just kind of lays it out there. I mean, certain times of the year, I guess it's okay to do that. That's the rain and the bees kind of clean it off, and it actually looks pretty good. It's a pretty good idea. All right. I got a jankety comb frame right here. So this one looks like one I had to clean off. It's not really much in there. A lot of dirt. Like one that really never took off the frame. Like the frame never really became much more than comb. It's got some dirt in there. Who knows if it's from laying on the dirt or actually just being used in the frame or using the beehive somewhere. All right, we'll kind of do the same thing here. We'll scrape that off. Put it there. Same thing, just gonna take it off. If I can just manage to keep the frames a little bit more clean and organized, scraping things off when they need to be scraped off. A little bit at a time. I think it'll make a difference. Not sure if this is caught on something. It feels like this is glued down. What is going on here? I got it on I'll see. On this reducer back here to kind of lift them up. It doesn't go all the way across, so I'm just gonna I'll let that sit right there for now, just like that. I need to make room for the two telescoping tops next to each other. Alright, I got a handful of tops and bottoms at the cow pasture. I got one telescoping lid right here for this hive. So, as you know, if you decide I want to buy a bunch of telescoping lids and inner covers, just know they don't fit real well next to each other on pallets. This one feels full. Let's see. They've been in here almost 2 months. Some of these Pro Nukes so far held up well. I mean, they're in the shade. Oh yeah. The ones that are sitting like in direct sun all day, I usually put something on top of them like a board to kind of cover it a little bit, make sure that it's always on the vented side. That hole in the lid should be showing the vented word here. It has no vent here. I don't have a, there we go, yeah we do. All right. Kind of clean out a little bit of junk right here, not too bad. Don't see the queen in here. Just gonna dump a bunch of bees in here. Go ahead and get them started. cannot get my... All right, so this is kind of the same thing on the other side. This was a foundation, a frame of just foundation that I stuck in there. So they got the side toward the middle, a little bit on the back. I'm looking for a queen. So I kind of like putting the bees in here on the frames first, rather than having all the other frames already in there, so I can shake stuff off in there. If I get a swarm, something like that, like if I have a box, I won't put any frames in there. I want to shake all the bees off into the box, get as many down on the bottom as I can, and then put the frames on top. So I figure they're all collected down there at the bottom. And so if you have a bunch of frames on top, which is fine, I do that too, I've done that. You're kind of shaking them on top of you are shaking them on top of the frames themselves. And you got a pile of bees on top, and if you go down into between the frames, but it takes them a minute to get out of the way from the lid. All right, there's a lot of brood. A lot of honey. So anyway, if I do it like this, I kind of can move things around left to right and adjust it. I'm not trying to force things in there, or force these frames in between a bunch of other frames and risk tearing stuff up. There's a lot of brood in here. A lot of brood. I'm trying to make sure that I'm putting it carefully in the same order. So all these splits that I did is probably not going to make much honey. Definitely not going to make a whole lot of honey by the July, June, July. They probably will be a full hive, double deep hive by then, depending on how much comb I have. I got quite a bit of frames and stuff at the house with comb, but anyway, I probably will add a super to them when they get big enough, but as far as harvesting the honey by then, probably not. However, I may get some honey, to a few frames from each one for the fall honey, and that really is my most popular honey. I get the most compliments from the fall honey, that darker honey. It's a beautiful looking honey, and I think just because people see it, they like, oh, it looks cool, looks neat. But it probably doesn't taste as good, and they taste it, and it's like, oh, wait, it's different, right? And that they really do enjoy it. And they're surprised. It's a little bit stronger. It's got a different odor, for sure. I think it's a good odor. All right, so I got some comb on the side here. I want to make sure that the queen is not in there trying to lay an egg or something. These are some thick frames. So leaving this out here allows the bees to extract honey from that. It's just easier resources to get. I'm not going to throw it down the comb or anything like that. I'm taking these off. So I can shake the bees Checking for my queen. I don't see a queen in here. Kind of do this a little bit. I don't want to be doing. All right. Get them out of here. All right. So, I'm doing the same thing. There we go. Now, if you do this in July, or probably even June, just depending on where the dearth is in your area, and you do this right here next to your hive, you're going to create a wonderful thing called robbing. Not wonderful for you, but wonderful for the bees who are from the stronger colonies. You're not just feeding these bees right here. There are billions of bees all around here. Within a 2-mile span, right? The river's right there. There's more bees over there than I have right here. They come and they see this and they start bringing all their buddies. And they start looking around. They see all these. They start doing investigating, looking at all these imperfections you have in your hive, and they start coming in and robbing by the. I mean, I've lost so many bees from robbing. But when there's a lot of flow going on, that's not that big a deal. Now, if you wanted to take all of that and take it 200 yards that direction, or 100 yards, or 50 yards, and just let everybody clean it up, that's okay. Let me grab some more frames. So I need 5. I hope these weren't frames I'm supposed to do something with before I use them. But if they are, they are. We'll be all right. All right, so this one has a little comb, mostly foundation. I may put that near the edge or on the edge, just depending on what else I got. Let me clean. This sucker here. I wish that there would be more research on the propolis. Okay? It's propolis, not propolis. I know you have a propeller, you have the propel drink, you have propofol. But others will say, well, you're propping something up. But you're not a proponent, you're a proponent. And so, anyway, the main issue is, I wish that there was a lot more research on the benefit, medical benefits of propolis. Don't just listen to the average backyard beekeeper. And take that as gospel truth. Now you got your more experienced and knowledgeable beekeepers that know exactly what research is going on out there. I don't know it all. I got too much of my own. And they'll tell you about the benefits. I've actually used it on cuts and things like that. But there's no telling where they get the propolis from around here. It can be from the trash can over there, or kerosene, you know, well, that'd be further north. A big creosote pond, you know, and there could be something near there that they're bringing home to, you know, like leave that kind of stuff to people to know what's going on before you start ingesting this stuff. But I have ingested it, but not the creosote, but there are things you can do with propolis. But the point is, there's just so much benefit that's not being looked at enough. I'm taking all this junk off this old frame here. You know, with the right guidelines and the appropriate regulations. I don't mean over-regulating the whole beekeeping industry and all that, but do some research and find out, like, man, hey, this is actually it can be used to heal wounds that are not responsive to traditional things the way we know, but things that we already use, right? Things that we currently use, diabetic ulcers, maybe some types of indigestion or just immune. This is the immune system for the bees, is propolis. That's why when I boil my boxes in wax, I'm doing it in propolis, with propolis. So there's definitely some things going on. That's why I talk about it so much. I got 300 subscribers. Probably 3 of y'all actually watch the videos and hear what I'm saying. Small hive beetle, dadgummit. What is that? I don't know if that's one that was in there. But the word needs to get out to do some research on this and start using it for medicinal care. Maybe with the new administration, they are looking at things a lot closer. They are looking at the bee industry as well. The farming. I remember when COVID first happened. That was shortly after I got into beekeeping. And they had evidence of bees able to detect COVID. I thought that's interesting. This is where all those drones. I'm just gonna make sure. I'm not seeing small hive beetles popping out. All right, that must have come from within the hive. All right. So I'm gonna put this on the outside. And speaking of just like dogma and things that we all hear as beekeepers, talking about your allergies. People want to take it to help their allergies, and they'll tell you like, oh, I've had allergies for years. I support my local beekeeper. That's enough reason to do it right there, to support something local. But I've noticed my allergies have gotten better. I don't ever make that claim that it's going to help your allergies. I don't say it's definitely not. But the research isn't there just to definitively say, oh yeah, it helps. It's just not there. It kind of makes sense to the average person. Like when you go get allergy shots, you're allergic to ragweed. And they're injecting you with the component of ragweed that you're allergic to in small doses over the period of time, and your body builds up a resistance to it. And you're thinking like, well, you're basically giving your body a dose of everything around you, you know, and whatever you're allergic to in your area. I mean, it does make sense. But the parts of the pollen and the nectar don't include the parts that you're allergic to, from what I understand. Now, you know, I don't know that it does not help, but the research is not proven one way or the other. It's more along the lines of it doesn't really help, but it doesn't hurt. You know, if you're allergic to poison ivy, bees are all over poison ivy. And you're eating it. You're not having an allergic reaction to that, are you? But it's always a good discussion, which is why I say these things. But I feel like, I was going to throw it behind me. I feel like those discussions are important to have. But I don't sell my honey with the hint that it might help your allergies. And people that will tell me this is why they want to buy my honey, I'm not going to argue with them. I'm not trying to convince people that it doesn't. That's not my goal. But I want you to buy my honey because it tastes delicious, especially the stuff that the specialty honey that I have. I don't want to give the impression that it's going to help you with your allergies. That's just me. All right. Let's see what's going on over here. I think, yep, no, it's full. I should have some frames. All right, guys. Let's see what you got going on. I'm gonna purposely walk right here. I think these guys have some frame feeders. That I may fill up. We're not in the dirt. They got a lot of stuff, but if that helps them, if they're taking it, it means they want it. And I think in the meantime, going to take some, depending on how many frames I have now, I'm thinking about this. I thought I had a whole lot more frames than I do. I'm going to leave 1 or 2 queens in the nuke box, one of these pro nukes, out here on the end. All right. Yeah, these guys are ready. Make sure the queen is not right here, because I'm going to shake these guys down into the box. I'm going to grab my bucket here. I get excited about bees every day, but I get exhausted too. All right. I hope there's some extra frames in here. I feel like I would have left them in here. But I didn't. I know I've got several frame feeders over there. There's a nail sticking in right there. So this is a box that I built. Got a stupid nail right there sticking, coming from that direction, going through and coming out. That's just because I'm terrible. All right, guys, you guys are going to a new home. Oh, let me shake those bees down here in a second. I'll look at that in a second. Oh, there's the queen. That's actually the queen right there. All right, we'll shake these guys down. No doubt that was the queen. Let me start adding some frames with the brood in there so she'll not feel like she needs to fly out. There's a brood in here. A lot of brood. There's some drone brood in there too. I'm glad that I saw that queen. I mean, it's kind of neat. Like, she's there. And also, a great example of why you just don't think, like, well, they're not going to be on the lid. Let me just put the lid over here and walk away and forget about it. whether it's this lid or one of those other lids from your actual box. And you can shake them down into the box once you get the queen out of the way. You don't have to worry about hurting the queen when you do that. It's like a good feeling to get that, just knowing like where she's at and knowing that she's out of the way. Kind of knock these guys down. So there's a lot of areas in these cardboard boxes where a queen could hide. So doing this, you're at risk of hurting your queen. You're at increased risk of hurting your queen if she's in there and you don't know where she's at. But now I can safely return these bees to their to maintain their population. It's kind of nice. It's nice. Lots of comb here. All right, now let's go through the task of getting 5 frames. Let's see. All right, we got 2. I see a few more over there, so we're good. We struggle for me. I can't see where they're at. Just branching my way. All right. Where did I put? Oh, they're over there. Dadgummit. I'm gonna walk to different sides of the truck. I apologize, guys. brush them over. These guys are kind of like, wait a minute, hold on, this box, wait, this box has been here this whole time? Wait, how did, kind of like waking up in a dream for them, right? So it's kind of tight right here. So I had 2 frames, I had some comb. I don't know that I want to put an internal feeder in there right now. I think I have some jars that I may do that to kind of help them. If they use it, you know, it'll be right there. It'll be enough to help them get started on some of these other frames of foundation, hopefully. Or just to put it wherever they want it. I feel like kind of good. So I'm gonna push everything over in this direction just so I can take this frame out later. And I'll be free of this. Beekeeping tips. If I'm trying to take out stuff right here, then I got a double deep. You know, it's hard to sometimes manipulate yourself to the best position to manipulate your tools and stuff. I can use the word manipulate. I've been using that word a lot at work. I'll let them know, hey, I'm fixing to manipulate you a little bit with this following comment. Thank you for being so forgiving. And thank you for not losing your temper when I screw up again. But see, I'm being honest about being manipulative, right? And they still like, oh, okay, this works. Alrighty, so I need to find a frame of brood, put it in the nuke with some other empty frames if I wanted to leave a queen or 2 out here. I need to be able to do that. So that requires me to have to open that up. Or open that. To open one of the bigger, more established hives up to pull out some brood. Now I've noticed in a few of my apiaries, like the boxes, like these telescoping boxes, the lid's up a little bit. I don't know if it's from me. It's not making sure they're down all the way. Or if there's a skunk or something or a raccoon trying to open them up. All right. Let me think. How do I want to do this? Let me make sure I got enough frames. I'll tell you what. I'm going to stop recording here. And if I have what I have, and what I need to be able to leave a couple of queens and some nukes, I'll start another recording. So I'll recap. The 3 established hives, they have 2 boxes for supers. That's been on there for a while. I wasn't planning on going in there and opening them up, or adding any more. But I may do that to not add supers, but to take some brood out. I may open them up. Both pro nukes, I guess. Yeah, there's 2 pro nukes, 1 cardboard nuke that were still in their single 5 frame splits. They all look great. They all were kind of boiling over the top. And so I pulled them all out, put them in the box that their nuke was sitting on top of. Added some frames in various stages of comb. Closed them up. I will probably get some feeders and see if I can at least jar feed them. And that's it, guys. So if you get a chance, look up honeyhefe.com. That's honey with a J, like jalapeno, right? Honey, Hefe, boss. So Jeff, one F between two E's. This is my office, guys. I appreciate y'all watching. I really do. Thank y'all.